ley lines to open up in the top right corner. Our red Terran representing Team Liquid. This is Clem. Our current world champion of StarCraft 2 battles against the 29 world champion of StarCraft 2. 2019 world champion of StarCraft 2. I knew there was a syllable missing there. In the bottom left corner, our blue Zerg player is Dark. So game one of this best of 7, and Overlord starts to move out onto the map once we get set up here for a few moments. Ley lines for TVZ can definitely be interesting because you do have to kind of expand forward on this map, which makes it very interesting for the army movements. There's a few different pathways for the Zerg to utilize, a few different ways into each base, which obviously can make for very exciting fights. And there's also a lot of bases, which is good for Zerg, but they're not in such a campable, kind of defendable way that Terrans can't engage into them and deny. You know what I mean? Usually a map with a lot of bases feels so Zerg favored, but Ley lines has not really had that to it because the bases do expand towards the opponent, right? And that's not to say that the game can't go long. It just doesn't feel as though it goes long artificially because it's difficult to take bases down. The Zerg just has the entire map, and how do you ever have a chance, right? So yeah. As we just have this SCV going to begin to move out, heading down to the bottom left as we speak. Command center coming through, orbital command, and a Reaper on the way up on the side of Clem. All of that coming by. Again, our hatchery, gas, and spawning pool coming in as we speak as well, so just bringing that through. As, yeah, Reaper starts up, command center and an SCV being brought into play as well. So far, so good. As we just see our queen going to be starting up on that hatchery. This SCV just going to sit here and watch for a drone moving out to try and take the third base. Clem will try and block this one, basically force him into taking a different third, which would be one that Clem is more comfortable attacking into, or feels as though he can do a better job of attacking into. So that's exactly what Clem tries to do over here for the moment. Let's just have the... I'm going to move to the sides, up down an extractor, get that started as well. But now, just going to be seeing the... Yeah, a little bit of an annoyance, right? I mean, you got to deal with that. Meanwhile, the Reaper comes in, going to start fighting against some of those Zerglings as well. And so, yeah, successful start here from Clem, who is pushing that away for a little bit. Now, the Reaper will come over, maybe try and support the SCV, as the SCV is low HP. Gonna get the SCV to move around the extractor, try and block it. There is a world where if you get the SCV close enough at the right time, you can stop the extractor from coming back up, and that's gonna happen there. Gonna go for the other extractor, which will succeed. So a micro war at the start of this game between Clem and Dark, as Dark just wants a third hatchery, and Clem is really making that extremely difficult. That's the sort of level you're gonna have to play at right now. If you're gonna want to win this series, you're gonna play for every little edge that you can get, essentially. As this Reaper pulls back around the bottom, the extractor cancels and rebuilds. The Zerglings will be taking some damage, Queen or two firing some shots, and the Reaper, kind of low HP, is going to move deeper into this main base. It's actually going to get caught in the corner, so the Reaper will go down. So for all the success that Clem got out of that Reaper, he does lose it in the end. But man, a very late hatchery compared to when Dark first aimed to take this. The Hellion of Clem moving to the middle of the map, heading to the bottom left side. Bunch of drones coming up, extractors, creep tumors, and queens on the way. The lair continues to build as well, so we just bring all of that through for the moment. Still got these Hellions poking about. Queens will fire, flanks will be nearby. And again, the refinery coming up from Clem as well, so bring that refinery through. The orbital command coming up. SCVs, Hellions, Viking, and Marine all building into play. Our Hellions still trying to poke around at the front just a little bit, as our Hellions rejoin up once again at this point in time, getting settled in the game. That's a whole lot of speed coming through, so potential aggression from Dark, right? You can get to a point here where you drop with the Overlords. If you have that speed, it gives you that opportunity, if nothing else. Viking's going to get rid of that Overlord, so no scouting allowed. He's also building the Roach Rover, which pushes me towards this idea of being like, okay, potentially like a big drop-a-lord play, drop the Queens, bring the Roaches, and just get aggressive here on ley lines. Maybe Dark does turn towards the, the aggression here in the ZvT against Clem as his way to try and maybe take an edge. Taking on Clem is not going to be easy. Battling against Clem is not something that's going to happen easily in the slightest. So maybe sneaking in some of the more aggressive plays, maybe sneaking in some more of that aggro is going to be the way in which he can see some success, as the Queen's going to be there as the Hellions do get rid of some creep tumors, so we'll be pretty happy about that. The Hellions start going out the other direction over the far right-hand side. Liberator will join up as well. It's going to be coming through. And with the Hellions together, try and see what we can do. The Viking spots the Dropper Lord, by the way, so Clem sees this, immediately pulls the Hellions and the Liberator back home, as he recognizes he might just need anything and everything he can get to defend. As the Queens will drop out, but the Dropper Lord, I think you commit to killing it, right? You get rid of that Dropper Lord, and then it's going to remove so much further micro potential. The Hellions are going to wrap around the Queens. The Queens did get rid of the Liberator, which probably did not need to siege up on top of the Queens like that, but... well, here's the issue Clem has, is he built a lot of Hellions. This is an 8 Hellion build. In fact, it was a 10 Hellion build, right? So he actually built 10 Hellions, which is more than usual. Hellions don't save you against the Roaches and the Ravagers. They're going to be great against the Zerglings, and they can be great to kind of soak up some damage. You're going to need something else to take down the rest of this. Siege Tank not ready yet, as Dark will start to push at the front. The Depot's going to be in trouble, as the SCV is already preemptively wrapping around the bunker. I like this, actually going to buy all the other depots, just so you can open up multiple depots at once. And that means he's got a full access into this natural. As he gets rid of all those depots, Clem will hit a supply block too. He did get a second siege tank started, which is important. This time he corrosive bile down the bunker, so that part of the defense is going to go down. The Lings run in. Hellions are not fully focusing the Lings. As the Ravagers take their chance to dive onto the siege tank, it will go down. New tank is only halfway built. And so Dark gets a lot done here already. 15 SCVs dropping is a big start to this game for our Zerg player, who knocks down another bunker now. Clem has one more bunker to the top side. Is Dark doing enough to justify this commitment? A few more corrosive vials. This bunker will go down. We are streaming in with Zerglings behind this. New siege tank about to arrive. I mean, every Ravager that goes down right now is so costly, especially when you're at 3. You need 3 to one-shot a siege tank with the vials. So we're at the point now where Dark can't really afford to lose much more. He will get the vials off, though, and he will kill the tank. No! Yes, he will! The last vial was delayed, but he gets it. So another siege tank goes down. Clem's on his way to 1-1 upgrades, but can Dark just do enough? Before then, I mean, he doesn't really have much left going on. He killed 32 SCVs. He's only ahead by 15 drones, though, and of course his tech is non-existent, where Clem has Stim. Clem has 1-1, about to finish up here, and they are going to be major aids in this, as Clem tries to fight. A few Lings with the Ravagers together will be a bit too much. No active creep tumors either, so yes, one more scan needed, but these creep tumors will go down. They will not be spreading anywhere else, which means that we can continue to play cleanup there, and that should not be a problem. A couple of Overlords forgotten about by Dark. This is the stage of the game where the Terran just starts to bounce back, and this is why you need to do game-ending damage as the Zerg player in these situations. This wasn't game-ending damage. This was a, knock Clem down a step on the ladder. This was a hurt him. But Clem's not dead, and if Clem's not dead, then I'm very worried for Dark, because like I say, the tech of Clem comes online way faster, or way sooner, sorry, as the +1/+1 missiles start up back at home from Dark. There's the comparison upgrade timing-wise. He's a full set of upgrades behind. Now, Clem's not been rich enough and bothered enough to build an armory yet, so 2-2 will be delayed, but he's also going to have the mobility of these medevacs, and if he runs into this third base, I struggle to see Dark truly having the units he needs to pull out a defense, so I'm not immediately convinced. As our Marines will step up. So we see a couple of corrosive vials go down. Medevacs load, going to head toward the main base. Just going to be seeing a Roach there, getting jumped on as well. Again, +1 missiles, +1 carapace, Roach speed coming through. Focus going down both sides as Dark still got a few more SCVs on the third. And we're just going to have to ping pong between bases. Clem is... Dark is, stabilizing. He's getting more Roach Ravager up as 1-1 missiles and Roach speed kicks in. I could be a Dark believer, right? I could be a Dark believer as the the Dropper Lord drops into the main. Just going to see those few Lings. Going to get ready to aim for the main mineral line. Medevacs have loaded up here. They're going to pull back a little bit as well. Those Lings run through, but they're going to get cleaned up very easily. Dark should not take any further damage here. He starts a Burrow and Tunneling Claw as well. I mean, he definitely realizes he needs to do something a little bit more drastic to kind of stay in this game. Now, I keep saying this as though Clem's in a great spot because he survived. I did think the supply was going to start getting a bit better for Clem. The only thing I will say, though, is that Dark has sustained this long enough that Clem has not overwhelmed him with the first wave of tech advantage. You know, 1-1 didn't do anything for Clem here necessarily, and he didn't have the chance to go into 2-2. So actually, Dark is starting to get to the stage where he's actually going to deal with all the advantages that Clem has coming out of this attack that Dark committed to. To me, Dark is maybe even past the scariest portion of this. Now his supply really is going to be able to do a lot. He's going to have Roach Speed as well, so his Roach Ravager is so much better. Tunneling Claws and Burrow will give him some aggressive opportunities too. Yeah, like you say, compared to a minute and a half ago, I feel like Dark has gotten through what I was going to think to be the scariest phase of this. As the corrosive bars keep coming down, Medivacs will take some shots. Roaches around the top are going to go and look for either a surround or a counter-attack. Take your pick. They can choose what they will get up to. A few Roaches here getting hits. I mean, we have a few Roaches already dropping into the natural, so Dark is going to be everywhere, hitting the third base in the natural with a Dropper Lord. Remember, he is now going to have Burrow and Tunneling Claws, so he can be very annoying with these Roaches. There's not a lot of units at home from Clem, who needs to break through on this other side of the map. But Dark, so far, is doing a great job of holding Clem off. Going to dive forward here, look for the siege tanks. Corrosive Vials coming down. At the same time, SCVs are getting absolutely murdered across the map. Dark capitalizing as the scan comes down. The Roaches will have to pop back up. They will start to get cleaned up there. Can he continue to hold here? I think so. The two tanks that remain are not enough, and they're also not close enough right now. Scared to step forward against the Roach Ravager army. As GG gets called by Clem, actually, he's not even going to stick around in this one, as Dark is going to do it and take the first game of this best of 7. Clem's been shaky today, no? Clem lost his first game in each of the series so far, and seems to power up after that, but this was just a cool game from Dark. The initial timing was very kind of cute, and then it did feel like he just had to do something extra to get to a good next stage, right? There was that 2-minute period where Dark had no upgrades, Dark had no tech, Dark didn't have a lot of units. He had the worker advantage, but even that was not a huge amount considering how much Clem had to work with, but Clem could not get anything done with his drops. And that is going to be Dark taking game number 1 of this best of 7 grand final. Yeah, you know what? As a championship, I don't know what we really call it. As we do have in the bottom left-hand corner down a map, our Red Terran player from Team Liquid. This is Clem. And man, it is not very often you see this kid miss an opportunity with the tech advantage, with Medivacs and bio units, to miss a chance to do close to kind of, you know, damage to bring yourself back in the game. And he really just didn't find it this last map. Really just didn't find it. Top right side, our blue Zerg player is Dark. Overlord moves out in towards the middle of the map. Racks and a gas coming up. Hatchery, drones, building in as well for the moment. And yeah, so we just head down toward the bottom left-hand side with this Overlord for a few moments. He is just going to follow that across, get into position. Try to see what we may be able to do. Our Overlord heads down to the bottom left-hand side. Hatch, gas, and pool coming up. Couple drones on the way. The Reaper and the Orbital Command coming in on the side of Clem. Yeah, we'll follow this Overlord down to the bottom left for a few moments. Just until we have something else to follow, such as this SCV. So Clem being very safe with the SCV Scout is not going to be taking any risks. So SCV Scouting going to be his plan. Gets toward the upper right-hand side of the map as we go. And we get ourselves set up. Hatchery finishes up there. The drone is going to come about. Just going to go chasing after that SCV as well. So SCV will potentially take some nibbles. Just has to be a little bit cautious. Drone gets onto the SCV and be able to push some damage back. Good amount of nibbling being done. SCV again playing that kind of blocking the third hatchery game. So I say it's about Clem being safe, but it's also about Clem kind of dictating what happens early on. I mean, this happened last game too. He forces Dark into a very late third hatchery. And he's going to continue to try and play that game if Dark does not want to take the other bases. Clem is going to make this as difficult as possible for Dark, as yeah, Reaper will just pull away. Comes back over, just trying to decide what exactly it would like to do to Zerglings actually get across the map, though, and they're going to find the SCV. The Marine will have to fight against them. CC finishes, the SCV can jump in and jump out on the other direction. As the Queen gets there, the Extractor will cancel last second and build the hatchery. Still much sooner than the last game. Last game we delayed until, what, about 3:20, 3:30 even? Now we get it down to 3 minutes exact, so hatchery does get going for Doc. I'm in the main base is building his third command center too, so he's playing a triple CC opener. A very macro-focused style from our Terran. SCV and a couple of Lings moving about. Let's see our Queen, our Creep Tumors. A couple of Queens and the Creep Tumors pushing forward. The third hatchery starting as well. The Hellions will be there. Chase the Lings back the other direction. Zergling speed. Finishing up and immediately effective as we get one SCV and then a couple Lings will get cleaned up. For the fact it's only a couple of Lings, that is really not all that bad. Again, the lair coming through, the Lings and the Queen coming by. Hatchery, Hellions, command center, building. Again, our Reaper and Hellions continue to gather back over on the left side as well. Clem going to come back through with this. Figure out where we go. Figure out what is next. Again, Banshee and Hellions cloaking as well coming up. Order command coming through. The Queen's going to be there to push the Hellions the other direction. They're halfway done. Overlords about to finish. Hellions will try and dive through once more as they go straight toward the natural. Things are in a good position here to shut those down though, so Clem don't just lose these Hellions. I know Clem likes to be kind of aggressive with his Hellions and try to get a little bit divey with them, but that was not it. That was just a gift. Clem is taking the spirit of Christmas a little bit too literally for this game. Oh, what are we doing? Why are we just giving Hellions away? I don't understand what Clem's trying to do with these. Now a Knight's Network goes down. Doc's like, okay, great, well, you know what? I was kind of setting up to do this anyway, obviously, with the fast lair and so on, but you just gave away a bunch of units. That's going to make it so much harder to hold a Ling Queen Nidus attack because, well, the Hellions would have been great against the Lings, and now you've got none of them left. Banshee coming across the map, of course, because it's a lair already, we can have an Overseer to deal with the cloaking, so the Queens can handle the Banshees. That should not be too much of a problem. Things are going to get there. Banshee gets turned away. Again, Cloak coming up. The Stimp back on the way through. This is going to be there. Hitting the Zergling. Here go the Marines. Going to nibble onto the Nidus as well for a couple of moments. So the Nidus already going to start taking some damage. The Lings are going to run into the front. Not a full wall off there. We might be able to deny the Nidus, but the fact the Lings are in the natural is a big issue. That needs to finish this wall, I feel like, ASAP. Single Marine runs forward. He's going to build a bunker. 7 SCVs down. The Marine falls there. He did keep building Hellions, so in fact, a couple more Hellions show up is really good for him. This next Nidus is actually going to be getting out. Queens, do we have the transfusion? Do we have the transfusion? Yes, last second transfusions come down. Nidus is saved. Do we have the Overseer here? I do not think we do, actually. I think we're missing the detection to deal with the Banshees. That would have been great if we already had the Overseer available, but Dark was not thinking about it. The Lings continue to seep through, though. Maybe needs to wait. I would actually like to see these Lings wait for the Queen support. I feel like right now you're running into a meat grinder, as we did get a Nidus up in the main base, so maybe this was more a distraction than anything else. Now we just need to get some more Lings here, because Queens on their own may not get it done, but Clem's supply is not looking pretty. 45 workers for Dark, 28 workers for Clem, 37 to 17 army supply. And Clem types GG. Dark is going to absolutely get off to a murderous start in this best of 7 as he takes a 2-0 advantage over Clem, and just the aggression getting the job done. And this time, leaving no room for kind of second guessing as well. This was not a, okay, Clem survives, can he do damage on the cat? No, it doesn't matter. This time, Clem just straight up dies. Wow. Dark off to a 2-0 start. What a fantastic position that is. In the bottom left-hand corner, we are going to have ourselves the red Terran player. And he's down 0-2. Our world champion of StarCraft 2 is Team Liquid's Clem. Bottom right-hand corner, our blue Zerg player. We have Dark. And he is... I mean, let's not forget, Dark was a semi-finalist at the World Championship this year. He fell to Serral. He had some great series there. Took down Maru in a very Dark versus Maru-esque matchup. You know, yeah, thinking back, Doc has definitely not been playing badly. He's definitely had a lot of good moments for himself, as we do have an Overlord of Doc. Gonna start moving out over to the left-hand side. Here in El Dorado. That Overlord comes through at the bottom. Just going to be moving across for a little bit. And the barracks coming in. SCV in production. And we just follow this Overlord. I guess now we'll follow the SCV. Clem again. SCV, because we've seen just how successful our SCV can be in the early stages, just putting in pressure to deny the third base. That part of it's definitely going fine for Clem. Ain't nothing wrong with that, it's just the surviving afterwards where it's gone wrong. SCV going to come through the bottom side, is going to go and mine some minerals here in the center. It's just going to open up that space a little bit. Couple queens coming about, drone, hatchery coming over. Just going to be seeing the queen is going to push the Reaper around as well, so the Reaper will take a few shots, getting chased away. Chasing, Reaper pushing back a little bit, so a bit more damage being done there for a few moments. It's going to be seeing how Queen going to get there, just going to push the Reaper around just for a couple. Reaper coming back over, so just trying to hop up. Flames are gonna chase that Reaper, and that Reaper is gonna be low HP. But alive, and that's the most important thing, because then the Reaper can continue to scout for danger, which is one of the main things right now. Scouting to see whether or not that, there's gonna be danger coming, and if you need to be a little bit cautious about it, or so on and so on. That information is very good to have very quickly here. As the Reaper and now the Hellions will try and step up. Wall off and the Reaper will go down. Of course, at this stage you do have the Hellions to keep an eye on anything that starts to move out onto the map, as long as it doesn't move out through the bottom side and then come through the center and catch you off guard. So Clem has a couple directions to watch for. Nothing too serious overall though. Should be fairly manageable for the moment. Hellions pull back around, actually going to go through this bottom gold base for a little bit as well. And just going to take it down a Creep Tumors. Creep Tumor will fall. Another couple of Queens want to drop down. The Creep will continue to get put in position. Stimpack Marines, Starport coming online. The Marines are going to continue to go after this Overlord. So again, will fall. That's the lair coming through from Dark in the main base. So he gets the lair coming up. The drones are still producing on in. And we got a couple of roaches going to chase some units back here. I'm not sure those roaches are really going to do anything more. We're droning for the most part. It looks like we're going to get past the 5-minute mark without anyone looking to kill the other guy, which, you know, based on this series so far, is an improvement for us. Maybe getting into a bit of a deeper game. People will create the wall. A couple of engineering bays coming online from Clem. The evolution chambers are coming up from Dark. Again, lair building, hatchery coming through, Overlord still producing. This SCP is going to get to repairing a little bit as well. Again, combat shield will come up for the moment. We get combat shield going, +1 missiles and carapace coming across. The 7 roaches in production as well. Medevac is still going to come boosting over too. So we're going to see a roach going to get jumped on, going to get cleaned out. The Hellion's now on the top side of the map. Going to go over to the far right-hand side, potentially get rid of some of the creep spread here. 1-1 missiles, roach speed coming in. The Hellion's going to dive in towards the natural as our Marines want to poke at the front as well. Just going to see one drone going down. The roaches are going to play a bit of a blockade. Drone's getting cleaned out again. 1-1 upgrades, combat shield coming through. Our medevac's forced to lift off and back away. Still got our upgrades and our roach speed coming by as well, so we definitely know that that is important. Again, 5 drones being picked off. The medevac's around the bottom side. Again, 1-1 upgrades and the combat shield coming up. Just going to be seeing the roaches going to be accompanied by link speed and roach speed. So yeah, Doc really settling into his playstyle for the next few moments of this game. Again, with the 2-0 lead, Doc has the ball in his court. Can he shoot and score for a 3-0 advantage? I mean, I actually think from a 3-0 advantage, it's so difficult to reverse sweep Doc because he plays so dangerously. Like I say, there's no room for slipping up anymore. You've already used your slip-ups, right? Some Marines. Get hit, roaches are going to be there. Medevac's pull back. Again, the 1-1 carapace and missile upgrades, link speed coming up. And 12 roaches in production. Just going to see the Hellions getting chased. 1-1 upgrade still coming through in the engineering base. Queen creates a bit of a blockade for that Hellion, unfortunately. Hellion will go down. Coming about, just going to cancel this hatcher on the bottom side as Doc attempting to get his second gold base of the game. I think it's important that Clem is active on this bottom side. You do not want to give Doc all the control where you can just mine off of both of those gold bases. Tanks will see Jub. Bio's going to chase back. Roach Ravager going to get pushed back in the center. Again, concussive shells coming through. Wing Ravager on the way in. Ravager's continuing to build. Gonna have our Marines gonna sit there as well. The Roach Ravager's still taking some damage. Again, 2-2 upgrades, concussive shells coming up, couple siege tanks on the way by. Our Bio Force continues to settle. A few more Ravagers coming in. We're actually gonna go diving in towards this Roach Ravager army. Couple tank shots hitting those roaches as well. Good damage being done. The Roach Ravager still stepping up. Tanks are gonna be there. Roach Ravager is... The problem is the Roach Ravager's not getting close enough to the tanks quickly enough to knock them down. Finally, we're going to get rid of one. There's a double kill potential over here. Those tanks are stacked, but we're not going to find it. And with the Roaches going down, the Ravagers are exposed. 3 Ravagers remain as Dog trying a bit of a shove here, but it will not succeed. He's already on his way to his +2 missile upgrade, +2 carapace coming up as well. So yeah, this is not good enough at all. He got like 3 siege tanks, which is nice, but he lost pretty much everything. I mean, if he wants to rebuild Ravagers now, he has no gas. So Dog is not set up at all to replace what he has lost, and Clem makes a good hold on the bottom side of the map. Maybe doesn't have enough to necessarily go running across and dealing with this base, but actually should be able to deny this one if it just comes up. I think Clem just checked then it wasn't there yet. Dog tries to go around the top so he can deny the base from the other side, but Tank's in good position. The Ravagers actually died because Dog just wasn't expecting them to be in position apparently. So Ravagers morphing in, the bio units gathering up. Roach Ravager coming through as a hatchery and take some shots for the moment. Couple Overlords will take some hits as well. Zerglings are still moving about. As I mean, at this point, I think Clem starts to trade very well. Remember, those Lings don't have a melee upgrade, so there's only so much they can do. Once more, Roach Ravager here going to try and fight SCVs, trying to repair the tanks up. We do have another tank, though, and that's the thing. The tanks have been well spread, so positioned well to keep Dog from being able to do too much. Stop him from getting too many of these SCVs. As Clem's supply equalizes Dogs, and that's obviously a very good position for Clem to be in, because that means that you are going to be able, with equal supply, to, you know, essentially have better trades, because you're playing against Roaches. Roaches on equal supply is not a good spot at all for the Zerg. It's pretty nasty for you, quite frankly. We have our Medevac pulling back over to the left. Roach going to dive forward. Siege Tank's going to get jumped on as well. The Bio will get back to the Roach Ravager. We'll be seeing the rest of this Roach Ravager still going down, so that continues to be hunted. CC on the bottom side, going to be chilling. As we do have, again, 2 Carapace, 2 and missiles on the way up, 13 Roaches in production as well. Bio will step through, the few Roaches taking hits. You're going to step back again, a couple of Corrosive Vials dropping down once more. This Roach Ravager looking to move forward as another scan comes about. We will have our Bio just going to dive up. And again, a couple of Corrosive Files coming in there. The Medevac's taking some shots. Just going to be seeing the Ravagers continue to morph in as the extra Lings producing. Marines will fight. Liberator will get sieged up. Again, just going to be seeing the 3-3 upgrades coming through from Clem as well as we have our Roach Ravager still trying to push on forward. Continues, another tank will siege. Queens are going to get grabbed a little bit. More Zerglings coming about. Just going to see even more of those Lings dropping down. The Ravager and the Roach are still trying to step into this, as we are just going to see the Bioforce, though, stepping through, getting on top of the Ravagers, and Dark Supply obviously is just absolutely melting away. I mean, we knew that Clem's army was looking way better, way larger, and in this case, is going to be able to be good enough to take a game back. So Dark will not be off to a 3-0 start. He will still have an advantage in this series. Bottom right, making his first stand of the series, our red Terran player is going to be from Team Liquid. It is Clem. In the top left, our blue Zerg is going to be Dark. Overlord heading down toward the bottom side. Barracks and an SCV on the way up as well. Barracks and the gas coming up. SCV on the way as mentioned. Just going to see a couple of drones and the hatchery coming over as well. The Overlord will step down toward the bottom right too. Just gonna start moving about here for a little bit. SCV moves across the map. We've seen the SCV scout each game so far, because like I say, Clem has been getting a lot out of it by putting himself in good positions and blocking that third base and delaying that for as much as he possibly can. We'll look to do that again here, it would seem, for the next few moments as we move across the other direction, other side of the map. Getting set up. Drone nibbles, SCV will take a couple of shots. Reaper going to come over. SCV is... Oh, we've got it this time. We've got it. We've got the block. There's no way you get the extracted down. This time, Clem succeeds in getting the kill. So the drone goes down and just causing such issues with this early on. He is really making this a fairly miserable experience for Dark, I gotta say. Dark not having a good time having to handle this at the slightest. See, this Reaper will move back, so yeah, much later third hatchery coming down, and once again what Dark was initially intending on trying to get. Queen coming about, Lingsby coming through, a couple of drones are building. These two Zerglings of Dark head to the bottom right side where Command Center finishes up, and Marine's going to turn onto some of those Lings as well, a couple of SCVs pulling about. Lings will go down. Command Center and the Orbital Commands continue to come online as well. So far so good. Factory on the reactor, barracks to a tech lab. Queens, Lings, Ling speed. Reaper gonna shoot the Zergling for a couple of moments. moving back around. The Zerglings are going to get the Reaper here in a moment. Just going to be seeing the grenade going down as well. And the Queen coming up. Just going to be seeing a Command Center coming in. The Rax and the Hellions and the Marine coming over also. Still got ourselves the Hellions moving up through the middle of the map here. That stim pack just getting built up here as well, as bringing that stim in as the lair comes through. A few drones are coming about. Again, a couple drones, couple lings, a Queen. Continue to build for the moment. Our Overlord will step forward into the main base, just having a little bit of a peek to see what's going on. A couple Hellions moving about. Hellions actually going here, there, and everywhere as the Queens of Dark will gather in. Queens of Dark gather up. Just going to be having ourselves the Roadrunner, Hatchery, and Lair all building through. Overlord still in production for the moment. I've been so aggressive with the Italians, and two are wrong so far, right? So definitely would like to see him taking a little bit more care of these as Dark heads into his Roadrunner, as we've seen many a game now. It really does seem like that's something he is just absolutely going to stick to, so not really too surprising. As again, we make our way back over to the top. Overlord going to keep an eye on those Hellions once again, so we'll see what's up. Approach speed, evolution chambers, and drones all coming by. And the Hellions make their way up to the top. There's going to be a creep tumor that gets taken out as well, so the creep tumor will fall. Taken out immediately. Once again, the rest of these Hellions coming around the right-hand side. Roaches, Roach Speed, and Carapace building as well. The Armory and the Engineering Base coming up from Clem. Barracks and Marines and the Combat Shield also coming through as our Hellions just getting towards the edge of the creep spread. Not going to go too much further. The rest of the Lings will come back around as well. Marines are going to morph in again to the center. Hellions morph into Hellbats. As we step up, we will just see that Overlord already taking damage. Potential to go all the way through here. Those couple of Roaches are going to get jumped on. 2 Roaches going down. Queens are now dropping. And a couple more of those Roaches still falling down as well. We're going to grab ourselves the rest of these Queens. Medivacs load back up. Moving in toward the main base. Drop one more Hellbat down on the low ground. Those drones will take damage once again, as now we stim forward. Now we get ourselves a couple of these drones. Clem is on a roll as he works his way through 5, 6, 7 workers. Nice start from Clem. I mean, that's a lot of damage done. Dark's Roaches obviously a little bit lacking mobility. He will catch some Marines here. Good catch. Clem just rallying forward and being punished for it, so Dark stepping forward and doing very well there. And Roaches is going to run into this mineral line, and those SCVs will begin to drop. So 2, 3 SCVs going to go down pretty quickly. Siege tank going to fire away. Roaches taking shots. The Medivacs will unload back toward the Marines. As the Roaches do back away. Again, missile and carapace upgrades. Burrow and tunneling claws coming through. SCVs going down. Not really that big of an issue, as the supply is already looking good for Clem. Dark is trying to do a lot of things. Burrow, tunneling claws, upgrades, Hydroden. That's all great, but he needs to actually just have units to survive. And right now, I mean, Clem even just taking a decent trade here with the Marines. He will have himself, obviously, if he gets a Marine tank push going, I'm very afraid for Dark, because like I say, I feel like he's doing a little bit too much right now as these Marines step forward. The Queen will go down. Hopefully gets taken out as well. Marines on the load on the bottom. Just going to see a couple of Marines over on the far right side as well. 2 missiles and carapace upgrades still coming in. Burrow and tunneling claws coming up. Roof spines on the way. Well, that Crypt Team is still going to go down. Roaches going to get chased. Queen falls. Going to be seeing those Marines still stepping forward. Again, 1-1 upgrades coming about. Concussive Shells is coming through as well. Just going to be seeing the Roach Ravager still chasing those medevacs, and those Marines are going to lift back up and fall back away down to the bottom side. And we got that 2-2 on the way through. As the Hydra's coming up, the Roach is on the way. Hive in production. +2 attack, +1 vehicle weapons coming over. Again, a couple of Roaches is going to be chilling over there. Marine stepping about. Roach moving through. I see a couple of Roaches still chilling underground. Obviously, with Tunneling Claws, at least gives you some opportunities to maybe strike as Dark and maybe get some more damage done. At this point, we're a little bit behind on supply. As there is a Roach or two over here, getting a few SCVs. Clem's main army. I mean, this is not even with tanks. All of his tanks are at home, and he's just going to jump on these Roaches. Moments away from +2 carapace for the Zerg. That should help. Some medevacs pull back, a few of them boosting downwards, a few of them boosting to the right. That +2 missile upgrade continue to come about. Hydra's Lings and the Hive coming over as well. Planetary Fortress building. Medevacs still in production. Siege tanks as well. Marine Marauder 2-2 coming up as well. The Bio getting into the center, as we will have ourselves a chance to knock down some rocks and press on through. A couple of tanks get sieged. And we will push on forward. Roaches, the Hydras, the Ling's going to come up. It's going to be seeing the couple of SCVs going down. Drones, 2 SCVs dropping. Hatchery going to be taking some damage. Overlord goes down. Dark ends up supply blocked. Hatchery will fall. The Groove Spines, the nanomuscular swell upgrade coming up to the lunge for the Hydras, but I don't think Dark's going to get much of a chance to use it. Extractor goes down. It's going to be seeing a couple of creep teamers going down as well, so again, we get a little bit more done. Still got our 2-2 upgrades coming about, +2 vehicle weapons on the way in. Siege tank producing Marines on the way. Viper's going to look around the left-hand side as Blinding Cloud's going to drop pretty much immediately. As there's nice Blinding Clouds, but again, tell me how you're going to fight the Bioforce. Oh wait, you're not going to fight the Bioforce. GG gets called, and Clem is going to tie it up 2-2, and our grand finals is going to be equal. 24 in the top left-hand corner. Our red Terran player representing Team Liquid. This is Clem, and he has done enough now to tie this up after a rocky start. He is getting his footing, and he seems to be stabilizing in the series. Bottom right. Maybe losing grip of the series a little bit. It's going to be Dark, our blue Zerg player. Here for Game 5 of this best of 7. Who will have the first chance at winning it all by winning this game. Again, they would be up 3-2. They would have a chance to win it out in Game 6. Cracks and the gas coming online. A couple of drones coming by from Dark. Hatchery coming online as well. Get this going. Overlord. I mean, this has been the start of every game for us so far. We follow the Overlord, and then we follow the SCV. Is the SCV going to come across on this map as well? A bit of a larger map? Yes, is the answer. Of course it is. Why wouldn't he? I mean, he has honestly had a lot of success with the SCV just wandering across the other side. And he's going to begin to do that right now as the Reaper in the orbital coming up, hatch gas and pool coming in, the drone in production. Again, orbital command coming online. The Reaper is going to be coming about. And the SCV just goes all the way down to the bottom right side for now. Two queens, 4 zerglings. As the SCV will just patrol out the front and keep an eye on where the drone might move to. And we'll try and get a jump on blocking this hatchery. Really not a fun map to have to take a different location on, as we've just seen this play out on repeat lately, and here's the Reaper about to show up to force the extractor from Mr. Drone. And again, we will just get this delay. Now, Dog didn't necessarily have immediately the money to necessarily build the hatch this time around, as the Reaper jumps into the main. Very aggressively going to try and get a drone there. Drone below ground becomes a extractor once more. And again, this dance continues. We've danced it a couple of times so far in these games. They'll be keeping on dancing right now as the Reaper gets turned around. Link speed, drones, command centers, still all building up. The factory building in the main base. Again, our third CC coming online too as a couple of links get across. SCV turns around. It's going to be 4 zerglings getting into the natural. They are all going to be moving across there. And the Ling's just going to head into the main base where a Marine is already waiting. The factory gets going as well. Starport building. Just going to have ourselves a few Lings down the left-hand side. The SCV going to get jumped on by those Zerglings as well, so that will fall. Those Lings will continue to go back down to the bottom. It's going to be a Reaper that can intercept these Lings at least, so now the Lings will struggle to get back home until Link speed is done, which is about to be now. Is the Reaper in trouble? The ledge not available. Reaper goes down, so Dark actually getting rid of the Reaper here in the early stages. That will be dealt with just like that. Queens, a couple of Hellions coming over as well. Let's continue to bring those Hellions up. And a couple of Hellions heading down to the bottom side. Drones building, Queens on the way. Hatchery coming up. Cryptum is building as well. Banshee and the Cloak can continue to come through. Queen steps down to the low ground. A few Zerglings jump onto the rocks. Okay, and those Hellions get turned the other direction for a little bit as, again, the Cloaking coming about. Banshee and the Hellions on the way through. A couple of SCVs coming over. And a Tech Lab building on this barracks as well. Well, just follow the Banshee as it makes its way over to the bottom right-hand side. Baneling Nest, drones and the Queen all coming about. It's going to be having the Evolution Chamber. Going to come into position there as the Hellions join up on the left side. The Queens are going to be nearby. And they're going to be able to keep the Hellions a little bit at bay. Then Engineering Bays and the Barracks both continuing up. The Cloaking coming through. Banshee is going to fly across, and a couple of drones are going to get chased. No Spore Crawlers ready, no Lair ready. Uh-oh. Well, I mean, already just lost mining time from all of those drones. The Hellions are like, uh-oh, we see a jackpot right now as there's an oversaturated mineral line we heard. So they're going to come diving through. The Queens and the Lings doing what they can to stop the Hellions, but the Hellions help to get up to 12 workers killed, all forced by this Banshee, forcing the drones to move over. 13 drones dead. It costs you all the Hellions, but it's also a ton of lost mining time. The third base not mining, the natural not mining, the Banshee now in the main bases, all the Queens are out of position. I love it. Clem just, like I say, I think he saw like dollar signs lighting up his eyes, right? Because all of a sudden, he was just like, oh my goodness, all the drones are going to the third base. Guess what my Hellions are in front of the third base? The Banshee goes down. We have another Banshee on the third that's still coming about. We've killed 20 drones now. And Clem gets off to a monstrous start in this game number 5. And Dark, look at him go with a Bane Nest and Evo Chambers and upgrades. And I'm so sad because we're about to see Dark not play a Roach style. We're about to see Dark play Ling Bane. Right? So we're about to see Dark play Ling Bane. And then he dies because the Hellions and the Banshees do too much. And so just as we kind of see Dark stepping out of and away from what he's done for 4 games in a row so far, it's all going to start going wrong as the Banshee turns back around, moving up the left. What a little bit. What a shame, really. What a shame that kind of becomes as our melee upgrades coming through. The Lings and the Overlord still coming up as well. Damn. 1-1 upgrades, combat shield producing refineries are on the way. Let's have ourselves the couple of reactors building up. And the Baneling speed will start as well. Still got a couple of those changelings. Gonna sneak to the top side of the map. So yeah, changelings will go sneaking across. The Bane speed coming through. Melee and carapace upgrades coming online. On the bottom, we actually have the Marines going to step forward as well. He's going to go after a couple of those creep tumors. So a little bit of creep getting cleaned up here. Queens and jumped on a little bit. Tank already in good position. I mean, this is going to be a struggle for Dog. Bane speed not ready. Slowed down heavily from the worker losses. The siege tank is going to surely shoot at those Banelings. Actually didn't target fire initially. Will now start to do pretty well. Turn back around. The Ling's going down. Queen's still getting jumped on. The Zerglings are falling. And these Marines just continue to chase after the Queens at the moment. So again, damage being done. Smelling Carapace upgrades coming through. The Bane speed about to finish up as well. Overseer, Zerglings all building as the Marines of Clem will work their way down the left-hand side. Away we go. An attempt to just keep on rallying to victory. I mean, he's up 30 supply at the moment. I would like to make this game more exciting for you all, but it's probably not looking like we're going to get the lengthy game that I was kind of insinuating we might get on King's Cove. Dark attempting to go Hive and Hydra Den. I mean, you got to give him some credits for, like, attempts or belief, because I don't think there should be any belief right now, and he clearly still believes at least a little bit. Hatchery here on the bottom side goes down, so that will just melt away. The Ling Bane splits apart, going a couple of different directions as well. Marines still just going at it. A few more creep tumors taking shots. Ling's on the other side trying to do something, morphing in some Banelings. I mean, Clem now pushing his position forward with the siege tanks over here. The units on the other side are going to decide to come back home and maybe just try and flank this army. So here we go. Clem will get trapped in a corner, and the Banelings are going to connect. So we get a bit of a better fight for Dark than was probably scripted, but even with that, Dark is still down 30 supply. This is actually a pretty serious fight for Dark, because without it, he's absolutely dead. Now you can maybe pray that somehow Clem loses another group of units just like that, and then maybe you're alive and fighting in this game, right? Like, at least now you can have a dream, whereas before you're already kind of just being told to leave the game. That is not the fight we're talking about. I mean, it's unlikely. It's still like an extremely low percentage chance. It's just, like I say, there is a percentage chance now, whereas before Clem was just going to wander across the map and kill you while dropping all those units back into a different base. Then you have zero chance at all, right? GG's gets called, though. Clem does finish it up, and it's going to be a 3-2 advantage for Clem in this best of the event. And I've enjoyed the games. We thank you for supporting, and we take us into game number 6. In the bottom left-hand side, looking to close it out, our Red Terran player from Team Liquid is Clem. Looking to get back onto the scoreboard after a few maps of disaster. Our Blue Zerg player Dark, he was so ready to play some Ling Bane Hydra, and he just slips away from him before he can even get going, sadly. That's very sad. Very, very sad. But not to worry as we get ourselves ready to roll. Game number 6 coming up right here as Clem and Dark get underway here on Amygdala. Let's watch the SCV build in the barracks instead of watching the Overlord fly across the map for once, shall we? I feel like I've observed every single one of these games in the same way. We follow the Overlord, then the SCV goes to Scout. So this time we're going to intently watch this barracks build to fill the first few moments of what could be our last game of the day. I'm really hoping it isn't. I'm really, really hoping that this is actually going to go to a Game 7. I still feel like we're due, like, I'm clinging on hope for a longer game as well. Like, give me something that hits 15, 20 minutes. Maybe it's asking for a bit too much, especially with the way that they're playing. I think last game was the best chance of it if Dark hadn't just lost all those workers. Obviously, Dark loses all those workers, and then the chance of that obviously is going to disappear pretty easily and pretty quickly. as the SCV moves around at the bottom side. Reaper, Orbital, Command Center all continue to come online here. Hatch, Gas, and Pool building up as well. A couple of additional drones coming about as we speak. So just getting a lot of these little bits and pieces up and rolling as the SCV continues to the top of the map here for the moment. Just bringing that straight across into the upper right. And away we go. Drone chasing the SCV. Once again, we are seeing the blockade of this hatchery. This has got to be frustrating. Dog's like, bro, look, we get it. You're already very good. Can I at least play off of my third hatch? I'm just like, no, you will have no advantage in this matchup. Reaper will fight. A few drones will be taking some shots. As our Zergling speed comes online, a few drones coming about. The Spore Crawler will begin to build. We got that all going. A hatchery starting up on the side of Dogs. Just going to get that hatchery up and rolling as well. Third hatch coming through. For a few moments. Command Center's coming in. Factory still building. Reactor on the way up as well. We're just going to move around and see if there's anything to be done. And speed coming through. The Overlord and the drone is on the way. The Queen coming about. Keep bringing that in as well. So a little bit of action getting set up here for now. As the Reaper comes back over again, the Rax and the Command Center coming over. The Orbital Command's about to finish. A couple of Hellions coming by. And again, the Zergling speed will be finishing in just a moment here as well from Dogs. Again, that link speed completed. Queens, Lings, drones, hatchery. Build all of that up. We do see the refinery coming through as well. The Rax is building with a triple CC behind it all. So Clem happy to play the economy and going to go into a nice fast stim pack. So Eco 2-1-1 build. So you'll have the pressure of a 2-1-1. There's going to be off a lot less Hellions, and that's why you can afford the triple CC and the barracks production. So a few less Hellions, so it's a little bit less safe in that regard. Doc has been building, again, a lot of Roach styles, and so Roaches do negate the Hellions in a big way too, so it can be a bit more understandable that Clem says, oh, okay then, never mind with the, never mind in that regard to some extent. Let's kind of cut the Hellions a little bit. Of course, there's certain builds where the Hellions are very nice to have defensively, but I don't mind it because obviously a fast stim also does a lot to deal with a lot of the aggression a Zerg can throw at you. You know, if you have a fast stim, as long as you have a decent Marine count, those Marines will start to trade very well. So yeah, we're going to get to stim long before anything happens. This Dog does start up the lair. Going Amygdala. 4.5 minutes in. No sign of anything else from him just yet as we get a depot cancel and he gets an SCV. So the few Lings are able to succeed. Dog showing up and doing very well for himself for a moment right there. So just going to be able to get that little grab going. Zerglings continue back out onto the map on the right-hand side and going towards the upper right general. As again, Engineering Base, Medivacs, Marines, and Stimpak all continuing through for the moment as our units gather on the front of the natural there. So units gathering up, Kings and Queens. Over here, going to see those Lings especially, going to start nibbling up through the rocks. The rocks will take a chunk of damage already. Again, Combat Shield coming through, the couple of Marines still building up. Again, Evo Chambers and Baneling Nest coming online, the Hatchery and the Lair coming over. Engineering Base building as we speak. As Clem just sets into a nice solid macro game. Obviously, we'll have the double Medivac of Marines moving across the map, and we'll try and see what we can do with those as we head toward the upper right corner to begin with. So we get all of that going. Marines will unload in the middle. It's going to be coming up at the top. It's going to have a couple of those creep teamers potentially get knocked at. It's going to turn into the Marines. The Medivacs load up. They're going to back away. Gain speed coming up. Melee upgrades coming through. The Zerglings on the way out as well. And yeah, the Medivacs continue to come across. At the moment here, heading through the center of the map. See the rest of the Marines unloading out. Medivacs will continue over. This Hatchery definitely a target that we can try and jump to. So Hatchery will take some shots. Going to go down. Now some creep tumors going to get grabbed as well. We do see the Queen moving about also. Another Hatch going to go down in a moment or two. Marines still gathering together as the Ling Bane Queen will set up. A couple more of those creep teamers go down once more. And armory building through. The barracks are all coming online. The Marines will unload behind this gold mineral line where a little bit of stimming will go towards the hatchery, and the hatch will take a few shots of damage. Again, melee upgrades coming about. Bane speed about to finish. The groove spines coming in as well as we now load the medevacs up, and the Marines will unload to the top side. I mean, Dark is going to get towards the 5th base here. Infestation Pit coming through. Hydra Den producing the Hydras. I'm starting to get what I wanted all this time. A little bit of a longer game. Dark playing Ling Bane, no roaches in sight, and yeah, Ling Bane Hydra going to be his choice with the Infestation Pit setting up for the future. It'll take a moment to open up these rocks. They stop taking damage once the creep touches them, so just kill those rocks off, finish them, and open up the middle area of the map. As Clem is already pushing up the left-hand side, he needs to get down to the right and deflect those couple of medevacs. So Dark protects his gold for the moment, but will also have to move over, like I say, to protect the Marine tank push coming in from the left-hand side as well. So we will set up over here. Those Marines are going to hit the hatchery. Here you go. Ling Bane Hydra going to go running forward. The Lings and the Hydra's going to get there. The siege tanks go down. Lings will continue to push, and a couple of those Banes really trying to get into the center of those Marines as well. Just trying to get a little bit more done for the moment. Bio chasing. Hydras have to run. We are going to see a chunk of additional Banelings morphing in as well here. Plus 2 attack. 12 Marines. The medevac coming about.